Fundraising is a huge part of what the need is here. There is a grant through the VA that allows us to get about 2/3 of the funds, but when you think about a $600,000 budget and $400,000 or so, I'm using just average numbers here, that means there's another $200,000 that you're trying to raise each year. We're not looking for a handout, we call it a hand up. We want to make sure that these individuals get the services that they need to become housed again and successful in that housing. It's a 18-bed facility. It's actually for any resident in Vermont that is a veteran that is homeless that needs to find housing. And even if they came from out of state and they need a place, like this is here for them. I am currently the chair of the board of directors for the Veterans Place. So my job is to ensure that operations are going smoothly. We have currently 10 board members, and we can have up to 15. November is our re-election time period. And what we do is we make sure that the policies that are in place, we make sure the budget is being adhered to. We listen to the managing director, who is Bonnie, and make sure that any of the issues that are going on within the house are being addressed. Fundraising is a huge part of what the need is here, and it comes a little bit at a time. Some of those are donations for materials or items that we need. Maybe it's food, maybe it's clothing for the veterans. Other times there could be an event that somebody runs. One of our board members is actually the vice president, Candy. She has a Calcutta that she does over at Gusto's every year. And so that is a big fundraiser. It brings in quite a bit of, I think it's between $15,000 and $20,000 a year that event brings in.
Awesome.
We just had our annual report that was released, and this time of year is kind of like a giving. It's asking for those that receive that annual report. They usually give once a year, and that's the time period that they give during. So it's an appeal. Northfield, like, we're here, the community knows about the Veterans Place, but we've been finding more and more that outside of Northfield, not many people know this place even exists. And it's not just Northfield. We're trying to expand a little bit more in Washington County, but I'm even looking for further than that. I'd like to see us to grow our board to be more of a Vermont board.
Got it.
Recently in the Times-Argus, you'll see that they wrote about Paul. Paul Mader is one of our board members, but he was a former resident here. So the intent is that an individual that they might be down on their luck. We're not looking for a handout, we call it a hand up. We want to make sure that these individuals get the services that they need to become housed again and successful in that housing. So a lot of times the barriers are maybe they don't have the first, last, for rent. So we're trying to find that for them. So some of the staff that we have are, other than Bonnie as the director, there's a case manager and a housing case manager. And if you think about that, one is dedicated directly to find housing. The other one is to make sure that all the programming that we have here is implemented. So for example, were you able to get an appointment to go get your medical needs? Making sure you have your prescriptions. So there's a number of barriers for any person, and we are here focused on veterans and making sure that those needs are met. We can range. It's not all. You might think that it's older people. It's not always older people. Of course, our most famous person you just saw, Bob, and people know him just because he's been here for a long time. He's the only one resident that's really been here for a longer period of time because the intent is it's a short-term program.
Sure.
It's transitional housing. It's
Sure.
to make sure once you get those services that you need, you are in your own stable housing afterward. If you are now working from home, you're not traveling around as much, you don't really think about all these services that are being provided to veterans or for other reasons. So if there's a program like this, are you going to a Calcutta even to do part of that fundraising? So we've seen, it's difficult to get the volunteers to volunteer for stuff, to come out, to be a part of an event, just because it's not the same society that it was 5 years ago. I am an Elks member, and I am a Lions member, and I am a member of the Sons of the American Legion down here. So I'm a little bit different of a person than what you would typically see, right?
Sure.
I'm younger compared to a lot of the individuals that help in those organizations. So luckily we are starting to see a little bit of an uptick. The Elks, they have a senior meal on Wednesdays. And I'm only talking about this because the Granite City 5K Run Walk for Veterans, that their 10th annual event was this last November, they handed out donations. So we ended up getting a $500 donation for the Veterans Place from that event. And it was great because with the senior meal, all those individuals were there and they could see about the program and why we were getting this donation. Me personally on this board, I became the president when Diana, the previous president, stepped down back in August of last year. I'd been on the board for 2 years up until that point.
Got it.
So this is my first full term, because in November is when we actually have the elections. And as her vice president, I took over when she stepped down. So all those different groups, if you think about it, like the Veterans Place, they have a bottle drive that they usually run right here in Northfield. So on Green Up Day, if you're out there green upping or whatever, you want to clean out your shed. All winter people have bottles and they just haven't returned them. So they save them up really over the winter, and this is a great event that they receive the bottles here. We partnered with the Lions Club so that they had similar events in Berry City and Berry Town. First time in those two locations, but we were able to donate about my other hat from the Lions, to the Veterans Place hat, donate $525 just from those two bottle drives. So if you think about $500 at a time, it's good, it adds up, but when you're trying to do $200,000 in fundraising in a year, that's a big ask.